Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly here at Jay Klein Connect. Of course, along with head coach Scott Langer, coach a big weekend for sure. We're going to break that all down. By the way, a quick shout out and congratulations to Ryan Umara for graduating from Northern State University. Congratulations on the commencement there over the weekend. Starting with Friday, a 3-2 shootout win. Big goal late to tie it. Great goaltending, especially in the shootout. But we're going to talk about a lot here, I guess, but obviously after a sweep like that on the road, I wanted to touch a little bit on the shootout itself. And I know I've asked you in years past about how do you decide who goes when and all that kind of stuff. But as you're watching this unfold and you're seeing 7 skaters on both sides, nobody scoring, do you start to get frustrated at all? Do you start to go, why didn't you do this? How come, what's that atmosphere like on the bench?
Well, I mean, shootouts are hard. Mm-hmm. The goalie has a big time advantage, based on numbers, but I guess you could say it's frustrating. You have an opportunity to get that extra point. You're rolling out guys that are successful at it in practice, and obviously you want to score. But the biggest thing is when your goalie's playing as well as Adam was. You only needed to put one home early, and that thing would have been over. But again, we were persistent, and when picking those guys, you practice it during the week, every week. Then so you're watching, to see who's successful, and then who's having a good game. Someone might have scored and feeling good about themselves, and it's just kind of a gut thing. But we certainly look at it all week, but. We've, that was good to get that win because we haven't had a bunch of success in shootouts this year.
Well, and it's funny because, I know that all teams do this, of course, but there's a bit of a pre-scout on goaltenders and their tendencies and so on. And it seemed like on both sides, everybody was going for the same shot, and I kept thinking to myself, well, why don't somebody do something different? Obviously they know more than I do, but, they were trying the same thing against Adam, as the Wings were against the Manzella. And eventually it ends up working, and obviously you get that big win for sure. So, and then you build some momentum. You go into Saturday. A 4-3 win, timely saves again, and timely goaltending, but then certainly staying out of the box was a big thing. There's a lot of things, and over the last few weeks, you and I have talked on this show, and I've heard you talk in video sessions and so on too, about some of the things that you're working on, some of the things that need to improve, face-off battles, the want to, that we talked about last weekend, or last Wings Weekly. And things like that really seem like they are improving. You've got to like what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's we've closed the gap on a lot of stuff that we needed to close the gap on in the last few weeks. We're giving ourselves an opportunity to win, whereas a month ago we were finding ways to shoot ourselves. And now we've limited some of our penalties. We're much better on the face-off dot. Our power play is creating momentum as opposed to giving the opposition momentum. Right. So those are big things, and we're getting some timely scoring from some veteran hockey players that are showing leadership. I mean, you look at Tishkevich this weekend, Leo. It's just those guys are stepping up and doing a great job. And we fell down, and in that game, and we came right back, which was a huge lift getting that goal back so quick. And they were able to tie it up again. It just kept going back and forth. But then a veteran like Jackson Anderson steps up and makes an unbelievable play to Weisner, for that game-winning goal. And those are things you didn't see 4 weeks ago. Right. You just didn't give yourself that opportunity, and we are getting better, and that's the fun part of looking at it. We've played the top teams in the league. We're going to play them again this weekend. We want to be one of the most improved teams by Christmas, and we're heading in the right direction.
Well, we're going to touch on that whole by Christmas thing here in just a moment too. But your power play 1 of 7 on the weekend. The penalty kill was the same, 1 of 7. You special teams. You mentioned it. Obviously, a big building that momentum instead of letting them build momentum, obviously a big part of that, but how do you feel about the special teams? Are they going the right direction?
They are. I mean, we've cleaned up a lot of things on the power play, which, now we're able to enter, without being disrupted quite a bit. We're creating some chances. Our face-off mentality has changed, where we're actually starting with the puck as opposed to chasing pucks. Now we just got to take the next step and make a couple plays in zone and get a couple more on the board that will help alleviate some of that stress during the game. Our penalty kill has been timely. The one we gave up this weekend was just a complete breakdown. I mean, it happens, puck's there and guy wide open in the back of the net. But other than that, when we needed it, both games were close the whole time. So you needed your penalty kill to stay sharp, and our guys were up to the task.
Well, and again, it struggled for a while there, but that definitely seeing it come back around, because it was super strong. It seemed like at the beginning of the season. Now, right now, Minot at the top of the division with 39 points, Bismarck with 34, in second, St. Cloud with 33, Austin with 31, Wings with 27, and then North Iowa with 14 points at the bottom of the division. You're going to see Austin this weekend. Now, everybody's got between 26 and 28 games played at this point. Some obviously still fairly close. Minot up top, but Austin was up there just a couple of weeks ago. Now they're sitting down in fourth. They were swept this weekend. What do you expect to see from Austin? Obviously, they're going to be hungry.
Oh yeah, I mean, Coach Howard is going to have them ready to go. It's always been a hard-fought battle between our two teams. I know that. Talk about rivalry with Bismarck and Minot a little bit, but Austin and us have some pretty good matches. They're going to be going. They're a veteran team that's not going to take a liking to getting swept on their ice, and we know that, but we haven't had an easy contest. And
that's true.
We know that we have to play well against them because we're looking to get ahead of them in the standings here eventually. So we're just going to focus on us, because doing that right now has helped us, in the last, I think we've got 4 out of the last 5 games. So we just want to continue to play well and give ourselves a chance to take points.
Okay, so I wasn't quite sure how to phrase this or how to ask this question, but I'm curious. You feel like things are improving right now and you're stepping in the right direction. You start to build some momentum, and then boom, you have the Christmas break. Is that a concern at all? Is this, I guess it's never a bad time to have momentum or improvement, but do you feel like it's possible that it could get a little bit destabilized and maybe put you back a little bit with having the break?
I mean, I think anything's possible, but this is a good time to have a break. We played a lot of hockey so far, and guys just need to go see their families and just kind of decompress. And then when we come back, we have to have the same attitude we're leaving with. So we have to finish on a good note. We don't want to have a sour taste in our mouth for 10 days or whatever it may be, and because that just is a waste of energy mentally. But I think it's a good time for everybody, for the staff, for the players, and just get away from the game for a little bit, come back a little more hungry. You're making a lot of gains right before Christmas, and I think there'll be a lot of excitement coming back for the second half.
For sure, especially like you said, building that momentum, and if you can end that first half before the break on with some wins as you string together a few here, and that's been part of the goal all along. Really, was the continuity and the consistency. So we're starting to see some of that, and like I was saying, I don't know, probably a silly question, but it just seemed to me that it's possible that when you make a run, you don't want it interrupted, that kind of a thing. But all right, well, Coach, great weekend, and great to see the guys starting to put some of these pieces together that you've been teaching them and showing them how to do, and great. Great sweep there in St. Cloud, and good luck against Austin as we see them at the ODI Center this weekend.
Thanks, Trey.
All right, folks, second portion of Wings Weekly coming up after this. City Lights Bar and Event Center is your official home for the Aberdeen Wings. Stop down for an ice-cold beer or drink and choose from one of the many excellent food options on their menu, available for both lunch and dinner. And when your Aberdeen Wings are on the road trying to earn their way back to the Robertson Cup Championship, come on down to City Lights and watch the away games as the audio and video are streamed live. City Lights Bar and Event Center, the official home for the Aberdeen Wings on South 2nd Street, just south of the overpass in Aberdeen. All right, second portion of Wings Weekly continues on, and as usual, we've got a player joining us, and in this case, it's Jackson Anderson, and a prior Lake Minnesota native, a veteran guy here with the Wings, and a big weekend for you, certainly, too. I was watching you're mic'd up, and so some of these questions I already know the answers to. You started at the age of 5. You've been skating a long time, and kind of grew your love of the sport and so on. Where did the inspiration come from? Was there somebody in your family or somebody maybe it was friends, whatever, that kind of gave you that drive?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember that much of when I started, but my grandpa, he used to coach hockey and coach my uncle when he played, so I don't know, just my mom's side of the family kind of brought me into hockey, I'd say.
Okay. You're a defenseman. When did you decide that you were going to be a blue line guy?
I want to say it was around 5th grade. I was a forward up until then, and then one year my coach just moved me back to D, and it kind of stuck, and I haven't moved back ever since.
Well, and that's funny because that's going to transition into my next question, which was or is. But as a defenseman, you're not afraid to go down the wall. You're not afraid to join the play. And something that honestly, Coach and I had talked about earlier on in the season too, that he was looking for a little bit more of offensive presence from his defensemen. And you're a guy that I think I've even heard some guys say that you're wolf in sheep's clothing in a sense, because you're sort of an offensive player, but play it on the blue line. How is that because of the fact that you play it as a winger or whatever early on, or what gives you the confidence to be able to do that?
I'd say I get the confidence just from trying things in practice, and when we do things against our teammates. Like
sure.
If you mess up, it's whatever. You just might get yelled at by coach or whatever, but it doesn't affect anything in the long run. You kind of learn what you can and can't do, and then once you get into games, it's fun to score goals and make offensive plays. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, and we're seeing that with Turner too. There's some, it's always interesting to me because there are some guys that are more stay-at-home defensemen, and then there are others that are not. Like I said, not afraid to join in, jump down and make something happen and get involved there. So it's always a little bit interesting the different approach that defensemen will have for sure. You mentioned your grandpa coaching. I've talked with your grandma and grandpa, and seen your family in Austin regularly. They come to St. Cloud. I think they've come here. But you've got a support system in place there, where you've got aunts and uncles and your little brother that come and watch you play. A lot of these guys don't have that luxury, whether it be because they're from Sweden or whatever, or just too far away. But tell us a little bit about what that means to you to have that support system and to know that they're behind you like that.
I mean, it's awesome. I love just being able to see my family after games and stuff, and if you have a rough night or something, it's easy to get support from them in person. It's not like a quiet phone call on the bus ride home. It's in person. You
right.
can hug your parents and do what you needed to do, and then me and my brother super close, and he looks up to me, I know, so it's nice to be able to see him and give him knocks after the game and whatnot.
He definitely looks up to you, I can tell you that, because I've seen him on several occasions at warm-ups or just going out where he'll be running down to the glass and just trying to get your attention and stuff. It's pretty darn cute, but that's awesome to see that connection. And it is, like I said, it's maybe not always the most common thing for a player to be able to have family around like that, so very cool for you. All right, speaking of that, we're talking family. You've got obviously we're going to get into Austin and the hockey part in just a moment, but you've got a holiday break coming up. What would you say is your favorite holiday of the year?
Probably Christmas.
Okay, so that is approaching, and again, we're approaching the break, midway point of the season, where people get to go home and spend a little time with family for the holidays. What kind of holiday traditions do you have that you're looking forward to? Are there any specific meals or anything that you guys do, or just kind of hang out and chill?
For the most part, it's just kind of hang out and chill, but me and my cousins will all go to my grandparents' house the 24th, so we'll do gift exchange and stuff, and that's probably like my biggest tradition. Sometimes on my dad's side, we get a little mixed up, but then normally we do stuff with my dad's side on Christmas Day. So,
right.
Yeah.
A little bit of juggling. That's pretty typical, I think, for a lot of different families and so on. What would you say, in your memory, what is the best Christmas present that you've ever been given? What was something that just stands out in your mind? I know in my mind, like I think back to when I was a kid and there was like a certain present that I was just like blown away by. You know, is there anything like that for you?
I don't remember how old I was pretty young, but there's a gift that was wrapped like a hockey stick, and I was like so just set that it was a hockey stick, and I opened it, it was a BB gun, so that was fun to play with that when I was younger and trying to like shoot whatever in my backyard.
You shoot your eye out, kid. Oh yeah, these are great little. And I love the fact that they kind of tricked you there.
Yeah.
play a little trick thing. All right, so now I got to ask you. Would you rather have the sweetest, coolest car ever? Like, okay, maybe you're a Jeep guy, maybe you're a pickup guy, maybe you're a sports car guy, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just whatever the best, your favorite car, whatever it is, your dream car, I shouldn't say not favorite car, but your dream car that is just absolutely 100% what you want, but it's guaranteed to break down at least once a year. Maybe more, or have an ugly kind of beat up car or pickup or Jeep or whatever, but it is reliable as all heck and never breaks down.
Like if it breaks down, do I have to like bring it into the shop?
Yep, you got to pay for it to get repaired. You got everything.
I'm not a huge car guy, so I'll just probably go with the reliable one.
It's very responsible of you. Okay. You're a veteran guy. We talked about, and Coach talked a little bit about that veteran presence and so on that you bring. And, and of course, as I talked about with the mic'd up session and so on, the leadership that you have to provide, and that, that it's necessary for guys all around this locker room to kind of lead the way and show the way. How much, I don't know, I want to say how much pleasure you get or whatever, but what does that mean to you to be able to be a guy that people look up to and look for, for advice or whatever it might be?
It feels pretty good, especially like when some of the younger guys are struggling with certain things. I have already been through it all, so it's like I feel like it's pretty easy in my shoes to like be able to talk to them, and I hope they're like understanding of things when I talk to them. And
sure,
sometimes things aren't perfect everywhere, so I mean, you just got to find ways to help guys through certain things. And like if everyone's going and like on top of their game, like it's going to give us the best chance to win. So just trying to find ways to get everyone going, I guess.
Right. Well, and that leads me to the follow-up question, which is this time of year. Now, I don't want to jinx anything because I'm kind of superstitious like that, but around the time of the break, it seems like it can happen where guys will kind of let off because they're looking forward to their travel plans. They're looking forward to seeing their friends, their girlfriend, whatever it might be. As a veteran, is that something that you address with some of the rookies and so on as you go into this last weekend against a team like Austin that is incredibly dangerous? That they were at the top of the division. They've dropped to fourth. They just got swept. They're going to be hungry. They're going to come into this building, fired up for sure. You can't really go into the weekend on your heels. And in all the years I've done this, it happens, it does happen where, guys are kind of like, their minds are somewhere else. Can you direct them or kind of let them know, hey, don't let this happen?
Yeah, we can definitely direct them and talk to them about things, but I think this year versus last year, I think we all kind of have an understanding, we kind of fell down in the standings pretty early, so now we're battling back, and I think we're just starting to find our groove, so I think everyone has a pretty good understanding that we need to come into this weekend with some vengeance a little bit and just keep climbing.
Excellent. Glad to hear that. Because, like I said, I know coaches often said at this level it shouldn't happen, but yet year in, year out, it seems like I see it. And not every year, mind you, but it's easy enough. And I understand that. Guys are looking forward to, like I said, what they've got to do the next day to get home or whatever, and you kind of aren't as focused as you might normally be. So it is important, especially against, as I said, a team like Austin who it's got a lot of weapons and some good goaltending and so on. What do you feel like, I mentioned it to coach, and it's always interesting to hear a player's perspective. What do you have to do schematically and as a team to come away with some wins against Austin here at the Odie?
I know it kind of sounds cliche, but just like playing to like our identity and just everyone sticking to the game plan, because when we have guys like go off and do their own thing, we have holes in the defense, we have holes in the offense, and it's hard to,
right.
You got to play as a unit of 5, and when you don't play as a unit of 5, bad things normally happen. So just stay consistent through 120 minutes this weekend, and things should go pretty good.
Sometimes the cliche things are just as true, even though they sound cliche, it's because they have, they've been true, or they are true, so I totally get that. That makes sense. All right, well, I won't keep you a whole lot longer here, but it's always nice to catch up with you and for let players to get to know you a little bit too, as again, I know you were on mic'd up and so on, and tried not to double up on some of those questions and so on, but appreciate you coming on. By the way, Nikolai Tishkevich is going to be the Central Division Player of the Week, I understand, so that's probably been announced by the time you see this, but congratulations to him. Big weekend there in St. Cloud. This coming weekend, Friday, December 15th, Free Kids Friday, kids 12 and under receive free admission with a purchase of an adult ticket. First Interstate Bank is the corporate sponsor. Warner Football State Championship will be, their team will be recognized at the first intermission. A big congratulations to them on their state championship. Saturday, December 16th, the Teacher Appreciation Night. $5 admission with the ID badge at the door for teachers, administrators, and staff. Cashway is the corporate sponsor. Redfield Night on Saturday. A fan bus will load at Starters in Redfield and take riders to and from the game that night. For more information or to reserve your seat, call Grant at Starters in Redfield, 605-460-2184. Corporate night sponsorships and reserve season tickets for Wings home games are still available for the remainder of the 23-24 season. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 for more information. For all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com or follow us on Facebook, X/Twitter, and on Instagram. Once again, thank you so much, Jackson Anderson, for coming on the show and talking with us a little bit here, and good luck against the Bruins.
Thank you.
All right, folks, that'll wrap up this portion of Wings Weekly, and we'll be back next week.